What if the moment that defined a basketball legend wasn't the victory, but the betrayal America believed he committed? A question that still haunts NBA history, especially the night known as the Decision 2010. There are nights in American sports history that feel like earthquakes, but the night LeBron James looked into a live camera and changed the NBA forever was the kind of shockwave that rewrote basketball culture at its core, a choice that split a nation, a televised moment that turned fans into critics, and a beloved hometown star into the most controversial figure in American basketball. Before the world saw the decision, they saw a kid from Akron rise through the chaotic ecosystem of American high school basketball, a prodigy who became a national obsession before he ever touched the NBA hardwood. A future face of NBA history, broadcast on ESPN while his classmates were still worrying about prom. Cleveland didn't just see a draft pick, they saw a savior. A documentary style storyline that felt too poetic to be real. But pressure has weight, and the entire weight of the Cleveland Cavaliers franchise was on the back of one young superstar. 7 seasons, 0 rings, a city's hope fading, a superstar suffocating under expectations no athlete in modern basketball had ever carried. And quietly, the fault lines were forming. A tight inner circle, childhood friends turned strategists, shaping what would become the most polarizing decision in NBA free agency history. LeBron's mind drifted toward a future where his legacy could collapse before it ever solidified. Loyalty suddenly feel like a trap because greatness demands sacrifice. And staying in Cleveland felt like sacrificing a career that deserved championships. Doubt peaked in those final weeks before July 8th, 2010, when frustration, ambition, and fear collided. July 8th, 2010, a live ESPN special. A nation staring at its screens. And then LeBron James said the 8 words that detonated the biggest controversy in American basketball. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. It wasn't just an announcement, it was a cultural explosion. The look on his face, the silence in the studio, the shock across the world. A superstar made the most important choice of his career and instantly became the villain of NBA history. The heartbreak was instant. Bars went silent, fans cried, and jerseys burned across Ohio. The city felt abandoned by the child it raised. Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert released a furious open letter, a scorched earth message that would follow both men for years. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat fan base erupted. They didn't just sign a player, they ignited a dynasty. But even in Miami, some whispered, did the NBA just change forever? Across the league, players were stunned. Some admired the courage. Others blamed LeBron for beginning the modern super team era. Even retired international legends, including one whose shadow once brushed LeBron's early career, watched the moment with wide eyes. Little known details about LeBron James 1. LeBron made the choice days before the broadcast, but the ESPN format turned it into a spectacle he couldn't control. 2. His inner circle underestimated the emotional fallout. They believed national TV would make the moment historic, not inflammatory. 3. The decision was never meant to villainize him. Internally, it was simply meant to represent athlete empowerment in modern basketball. 4. He apologized privately for the method, not the move. This is something many fans still don't know. Impact. Emotionally, a hero became a villain, a savior became a traitor, a young man became a hardened leader overnight. Physically, LeBron transformed, leaner, stronger, more ruthless, more focused. Miami reshaped his body and his mentality. For the NBA, free agency would never be the same. Executives panicked, teams adapted, fans divided, but the league evolved, and LeBron James began writing the second chapter of his legacy, one built on control, courage, and calculated risk. Post-incident developments. The NBA changed its approach to media events. Players began announcing decisions with precision, not theatrics. Teams rethought loyalty versus power. Public relations became a science. And years later, when LeBron returned to Cleveland, he didn't just win a championship. He rewrote the meaning of forgiveness. But if you think this moment changed basketball, wait until you hear about the man who once scored 55 points against Team USA alone and made the world reconsider how unstoppable a single player could be. A legend whose name barely surfaces in American conversations, yet whose influence echoes quietly in LeBron's own journey. Episode 2, Oscar Schmidt, coming next. If you want more cinematic deep dives into the moments that shaped basketball history, hit subscribe now, because the next episode reveals the untold story of a legend America forgot, and you don't want to miss it.